Human code machines. This is just the story. On the sands of Iwo Jima Island, any other World War II code machine would have been too slow to use in the heat of battle, but the Marines had highly mobile cryptographs, each with 2 arms, 2 legs, and an unbreakable code. Natstosi Tanzi Debe Shida Danesta Kin Shush Walachi Moasi Lin Achi. Ordinary Marines listening to this babble were as baffled as Japanese soldiers in intercepting the messages. Had they spoken Navajo, they would have recognized the words: mouse, turkey, sheep, uncle, ram, ice, bear, ant, cat, horse, intestines. But what could such nonsense mean? To the Navajo code talkers, the first letter of each word spelled out Mount Suribachi. Other code filled in the announcement. Iwo Jima was under American control. The Navajo code talkers were unique in cryptographic history. From 1942 to 1945, more than 400 code talkers stormed the beaches of Pacific Islands. Instantly encoding and decoding messages, they helped Marines win the war in the Pacific. Even today, their code remains one of the few in history that was never broken. The Navajo code talkers played an important role during World War II. Shown below are 2 code talkers in a jungle close to the front lines. When World War II began, hundreds of Navajo men volunteered to fight. Most had never been off the reservation, a high barren plain stretching across Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico, where they lived as a separate nation, as many still do today. The reservation had no electricity or indoor plumbing and only a few schools. Most Navajo herded sheep and bought from government trading posts what little they needed and could not make. They spoke some English, but the business of their daily lives was conducted in their own language. Among languages that were spoken by only tens of thousands of Americans, Navajo was the language least likely to be known to foreigners. The language was entirely oral. Not a single book had ever been written in Navajo. The Navajo Code was proposed by a non-Navajo, Philip Johnston, the son of missionaries on the reservation. Marine officers were skeptical at first. American armies had used other Indian languages to send messages during World War I. Yet because the ancient dialects had no words for machine or gun or tank, the experiment failed. Johnston had a better idea: a language combined with a code. The picture? When World War II broke out, hundreds of Navajo men volunteered to fight for the United States. This photo shows 2 Navajo code talkers being trained at an army base in Australia. Making a code. The Navajo language contained no words for the horrors of war. Bomber, battleship, grenade, all were terms foreign to the Navajo. But in making their code, the Navajo soldiers rooted it, like their lives, in nature. They named military planes after birds. Ginny, Navajo for chicken hawk, became dive bomber. Nisja, meaning owl, meant observation plane. They named ships after fish. Lotso, meaning whale, was the code word for battleship, and Beshlo, iron fish, meant submarine. To spell out proper names, the code talkers encoded a Navajo zoo. Marines spell out abbreviations with their own alphabet, which begins Abel, Barker, Charlie. The Navajo version began Walachi, Shush, Moasi, meaning ant, bear, cat. Finally, code talkers created clever terms for friends and enemies. Lieutenant was translated as 1 silver bar. Mussolini, Italy's fascist dictator, was Adiatsunso, big gourd chin. Hitler became Dagkelchi, mustache smeller. Test time. With just 400 words encoded, the Navajo put their cryptology to the acid test. They handed a message to Navy intelligence officers who spent 3 weeks trying and failing to decipher it. Then, armed with the code and M1 rifles, a few dozen code talkers shipped out to the Pacific. 2 or more remained behind to teach the code to other Navajo recruits. Between invasions, the code talkers convened to encode new battle terms. Before the war ended, several were killed in action, yet they transmitted thousands of messages without error. In a language that needs no decoding, Marine Major Howard Connor assessed their contribution. Without the Navajos, Connor said, the Marines would never have taken Iwo Jima. In 2001, the United States awarded 4 Navajo code talkers the Congressional Medal of Honor, the highest award a soldier who has been in battle can receive.